Air it out, air it out. I had to clear it out, clear it out. I feel like Superman, I tear it down. Call as a quarterback and send him out. I feel that air it out, air it out. I had to clear it out, clear it out. I feel like Superman, I tear it down. Call as a quarterback and send him out. Take off. I'm on a rocket, a space dog. Bought a new car from Elon, wanna race. I've been asking how long is it gonna take. I've been cracking the code, had to break the safe. I've been writing my wrongs, had to change my ways. I was stuck in one place, so I had to shake. They try holding me down, but I found my way. Roddy Rich and so bicycle love me. Ride away, then my heart went on ice again. Find the balance, my patience been going thin. In the field every day till I reach the end. Popping up on your side like we had a bounce. Ain't no way that they think that it's stopping now. I've been waiting for my turn to come around. I've been waiting for my turn to come around. Air it out, air it out. I had to clear it out, clear it out. I feel like Superman, I tear it down. Call as a quarterback and send him out. I'm finna air it out, air it out. I had to clear it out, clear it out. I feel like Superman, I tear it down. Call as a quarterback and send him out.
What's up, football fans? It's the Air It Out Podcast, brought to you by Inside the Hash. My name is Avery Collins, and I am your host of the Air It Out Podcast, and I am joined by our, there it is, CEO, Mr. Jerome Jones. Say what's up to the people.
What's going on? What's going on? Before we start, I gotta talk about my hot take of last week because I said the Cowboys is gonna struggle in that Houston game, and they definitely did. Now I did say they might still win, which they did, but I did say they're gonna struggle. Just want to say.
This is true. This is true. He did say that they were going to struggle. If you did not see last week's episode, go to YouTube and check it out. And, you know, fact check him. You know what I'm saying? What's going on? Chris, what's going on, sir? Good to see you, sir. Thank you for joining in. As you can see, Chris is joining in from YouTube. Drop your comments in the chat if you are tuning in like Chris is. Say what's up to everybody. Speaking of saying what's up, say what's up to the people. The one and only Juan is in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
I just needed to wait to be introduced to speak, man, because I've had too much to say today, and I'm trying to keep it on the low because I'm frustrated right now, man. Frustrated. I'm like my pick game has been off the last couple of weeks. First, I picked the Raiders over the Rams. I didn't expect Baker Mayfield to suddenly just become
Baker.
Off the
Baker.
Yeah. Not really. Honestly, you're too pessimistic for me, Chris. I don't want to hear from you right now. Apart from that, then I picked the Cardinals to try and beat the New England Patriots, only for Kyler Murray to tear his ACL in the start of the game, and then everything else just collapses right after. I really hope that Kyler's okay. I hate that sucks, but it really puts into danger my Jets' chance of making the playoffs. So,
wow.
Yeah, well, it was lofty hopes in the first place. You guys were really good early on, but I mean, you know, this was a tide-changing situation in season, and we've seen this happen. When you're not good and then go to being pretty good, it typically ends up falling just short. And so it's a good thing that you guys are trending in the right direction, but I think it's even better that you guys are dealing with some adversity because I think it's just going to build for the future. Fire Kingsbury. Oh, you know.
Hey.
Well,
I'd hold off on the firings right now, Chris. I agree with you. But the GM just reported a health condition, so I'm kind of a little eerie with what's going on with the Cardinals right now, per se. So until that's cleared up, I don't want to call out for anyone's job just yet.
Well, we'll see what happens. But we're going to jump into our first topic today. It's the Air It Out Podcast. We're going to talk about football. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but it's hunting season. Okay? It is hunting season. We're talking about teams who are in the hunt for the NFL playoffs as of right now, okay? And I want to know from you guys what teams that are in the hunt do you think are going to solidify a spot? They're going to do it. They're going to they're gonna make it. Okay, so real quick, just to give some on the bubble teams. Okay, we're gonna start with the AFC here. We've got the Chargers at 7-6. They're in the A spot currently, one game out of the spot, out of the wild card picture, or the last spot in the playoffs. Then we've got the Jets at 7-6, and then we've got, I guess they're on the bubble, the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're 5-8. Okay, but they're playing good. They're playing good football. Okay, and so then we've got on the NFC side, we've got on the bubble the Seattle Seahawks, who do play tonight. That is a very interesting and important and probably telling game. The Lions, who are on a tear right now, winning, 5 of their last 6 games, absolutely doing the thing right now. So the Lions, I mean, if you did not see, Jared Goff was absolutely amazing last week. His highest fantasy output of his career, and Evan Ingram looks like he just wanted to get out of New York. That's all I'm going to say. And then they're at 6-7, and then oddly enough, still in the hunt, the Green Bay Packers at 5-8, who look like a terrible team. I'm going to continue to wrangle off some teams here, and the reason is because it's very, very interesting. Run the table, Detroit. Listen, I would love to see Detroit get into the playoffs. I'm just being honest. It's a great city, great football city. They deserve it. But I want to bring on these other teams. They're at 11-12, and the reason is because their division is really, really interesting. The Carolina Panthers at 5-8, and the Atlanta Falcons also at 5-8 are still in the hunt for the playoffs. And literally, the Buccaneers only have one game on these guys, right? So one game could shift the tide, and the Buccaneers don't look like they're dominating. So we'll see what that looks like. But with that being said, those bubble teams, why not start with you? Who is going to make the playoffs? Like, who is going to punch their ticket in this hunting season to the playoffs?
Originally, I would have said, I would have gone on a whole spiel about my Jets making the playoffs, but
let's start with the AFC and then move to the NFC.
Well, then I'll still stick with my Jets to make the playoffs. In the AFC side, mostly because this team is capable of winning their next 3 to 4 games left in the schedule. Everything is winnable at this point. Miami is looking vulnerable on the schedule. Detroit is up next right now, and it's 50-50 for where that can go. And all the Jets need to do is try to find those 3 wins. This team is capable of doing so with a top 3 equipped with a top 3 defense, a solid run game that's had a lot of rotation, even though it's been banged up to hell and back. Rookies have been contributing, man. They have been contributing like up beyond any other rookie class I've ever seen. This is comparable, I think, to the Marshawn Lattimore, Alvin Kamara rookie classes the Saints brought out back in 2017, in my opinion, especially with Wilson and with Gardner up for offensive and defensive rookie of the year, respectively. So I feel the Jets could make that run. And then the NFC side is actually the team that the Jets are going to be playing against, and my new hometown team, the Detroit Lions. All right, Jared Goff. Do not sleep on Jared Goff, man. The guy has revived his career. What was once the narrative that he was just a Sean McVay product is no longer viable. All right, Dan Campbell is pushing this team to heights it has not seen since Matthew Stafford took this team to the playoffs. All right, the running game of Jamal Williams and Swift has been, for lack of better words, swift and powerful. That receiving core is outstanding. Jamison Williams, DJ Chark. Amon-Ra St. Brown. They may have lost.
Thank God.
They may have lost Hawkinson, but they've recovered well. Even if you can get Penei Sewell out to play tight end every once in a while, the defense, all they've had to do is maintain, a decent push and pull. Bend, don't break. And the last 5 out of 6 games that they've done that, they've done their best to do it.
I got you. I like it.
I have the Lions and I have my Jets making the playoffs. If Detroit makes the playoffs by running the table and beating my Jets in the process, I will not be mad at that because this city deserves a playoff berth.
They absolutely deserve a playoff spot. Jamison Williams will be a problem for the next decade. Yes. I mean, it's very interesting Juan, let me ask you before I jump to you, Jerome. Is Mike White the quarterback of the future, or do they go back to Zach Wilson, or do they look for a quarterback in this year's draft? Like, what do you think? Because the Jets are trending up, like you said, a top 5 defense, and they're playing extremely well. Sauce is easily a top 5 corner, probably already, and is a rookie. And then offensively, not too many holes. You might want a little bit more splash at receiver. Elijah Moore isn't playing up to what we thought he would be currently, but they're not lacking tremendously. Still need a little more speed, maybe a better pass catcher, like more reliable. But the running game, like you said, I mean, really some good running backs, and Michael Carter, Breece Hall, when they all get healthy and come back.
Bam Knight just won Rookie of the Week.
Right? Are they a quarterback away? And if so, is Mike White that quarterback? What do you see transpiring this offseason?
Mike White has proven that he can play in this league. Can he overcome some of the weaknesses that he has to do to actually win in this league?
My brother, appreciate you, sir.
It's hard to say. I love Zach Wilson's raw talent. we do, Chris. But we'll just snag up. As much as I'd love to steal Lamar Jackson away from the Ravens, he just wouldn't fit the system that the Jets employ. Honestly, I don't know what the answer is at quarterback anymore. I've seen what Mike White can do. He is motivating this locker room in a way that I haven't seen a Jets quarterback do since 2017 when Josh McCown was the quarterback, and for some reason everyone loved him even though they were losing. Zach Wilson, I have lost faith in Zach Wilson. I think he is too immature and has the yips of a quarterback to really move forward in this league. The next thing that can happen, either we sign somebody or we draft somebody, but I really hope we sign somebody. And if we do sign somebody, it has to be someone that doesn't need to do a lot, but can do enough to not ruin the game for you. That's all you need. Like an Alex Smith type. You need an Alex Smith type to run this offense.
Well, I mean, Atlanta's got a guy named Marcus Mariota. Never mind.
Some would say Zach is looking for some maturity in different ways.
Well, there's that. There's that. We're not even going to go down that road. Jerome, I want to ask you now. Bubble teams in the hunt. Who do you think is punching their playoff ticket? We'll start with the AFC. Again, give us your pick.
Well, AFC, you have to look at the Chargers, man. They're already number 8 at the moment. Outside of Kansas City, that conference is, up and down. And I think they're the most consistent team outside of Kansas City in that division. I'm sorry. Yeah, in that division. So with that being said, they are looking better. They're a team that always riddled with injuries, but they coming back with a lot of guys. They missed, I think their top 2 wide receivers only played like 4 or 5 games together at one time this whole season. So for that, I think that is something that you gotta look at too. Like, Mike Williams with that crazy catch. I don't know if you guys seen that. That catch was insane, dude. And I don't think enough people talk about Mike Williams, man. That boy can make some difficult catches.
Easily the best jump ball receiver in the NFL right now.
I agree. Yeah, I don't think he gets talked about enough. So you bring those 2 guys back. There was heavily relying on Eckler. Now you don't have to heavily rely on him. Justin Jefferson. No, not just Jefferson. Sorry. What's their backup running back? I forget his name. He's playing really well.
Justin Jackson.
Yeah,
Justin Jackson. Sorry. Yeah, is he in Detroit now, or am I tripping? He is in Carolina.
No comment. No comment, ladies and gentlemen.
all I need is Zach Wilson to get model from one of these MILFs that he's been going out with, and then the Jets circle of torture.
I think I started some. My God.
I'm staying away. I am staying away.
I started some, didn't I?
I'm staying away.
Good one, Avery. But yeah, I think them. Now, because also they got Tennessee right in there at the moment too. Tennessee is not looking like a good team. They're actually trending down, I think. Derek, they're not for some reason they cannot get Derrick Henry going, and when he can't go, the team doesn't go at all. It's weird.
For some reason. There's a very huge reason.
You know what it reminds me? It's like the 08 the 2012 Minnesota Vikings when it was just Adrian Peterson and no one else.
There's a very strong reason why they can't get Derrick Henry going. Who threatens down the field on that team at receiver? No, you traded away the receiver.
I think we had this conversation
last week.
I'm just saying. I mean, there's literally no threat. I mean, in the past 2 years, you've given away all of their threats, even in old. Yes, this is your fault, Jerome. even in old and injury-prone Julio Jones, who is playing at least decent in Tampa right now, you don't even have him anymore. I mean, over the last 2 seasons, goodbye Corey Davis, goodbye Julio Jones, goodbye AJ Brown, and you thought that we're just going to run Derrick Henry to death after breaking his foot. Like what? Anyway.
No, I agree. It's going to be kind of hard for the Jets to get in my opinion, just because of the emergence of the Bills, the tiebreaker between the Patriots. Miami's doing really well with their weapons. Defense is playing really well over there as well. So it's going to be hard for the Jets to get in. So honestly, where it is right now, I'm okay with. I wouldn't mind seeing the Chargers over the Patriots though.
What I'm counting on is the Patriots to falter, especially because the offensive coordinator for the Patriots should not have that job in the first place.
I agree.
The rocket scientist whose name slips me, but that's how insignificant he is in the back of my mind, because he has proven to be a terrible coach when he was a head coach in Detroit. So much so that Darius Slay, who was a lion for life, wanted out and went to the Eagles. Which congrats for him for doing that. But still, to convince a Detroit icon to leave the city, you got to be a terrible head coach. And not to mention, he's a defensive coordinator. Why is he calling offensive plays in the first place?
Seriously. No comment. No comment.
I agree.
Or they double down on the
So this thing about that, right? Burks is still young and he's been injured a lot lately. And then Woods, they don't scheme him up like they did in Los Angeles. So like with Woods, Woods was never the fastest guy. He was never the most athletic guy. He's more of a possession guy, slants, that kind of guy. You got to scheme him up and that kind of deal. He's more of like a smaller but physical wide receiver. And I think that they don't utilize him good in Tennessee to be able to consider him as a really good wide receiver, because they don't use him the right way. They don't scheme him up. They just say go out there and catch a ball, and that's not really his thing. He's more of a scheme you up, go in the slot sometimes. Slant routes.
I agree, and I agree. I would throw in that Ryan Tannehill currently hasn't proven to be a throw you open quarterback. He's you're open on throw it quarterback. He doesn't necessarily throw you open, and this is not a knock against him. This is not saying that he's not a good quarterback, because I think he's a solid, serviceable game managing quarterback, which is hence the reason they play the system that they do. But because of that, he's not going to carve you up for 50 passes a game and throw guys open. And Robert Woods is not that type of receiver as well. And Burks, again, with the injuries and different things like that, that's not the offense. But I agree with Chris. You either go out and get somebody. I would love for them to go out and get somebody like an Odell, just to at least bring in a threat. Now, I don't like the fit. I don't like the fit. Let's just be honest. I don't like the fit, but at least
he wouldn't even want to go there anyway. He just
exactly.
Said he want to be a playoff team guy.
Of course, but at least the threat. And the Titans are currently in the playoffs in the playoff picture, so it's not to say they couldn't, but I don't even think that he takes them over the hump. I think they really do need to just get some young, healthy, dynamic receiver talent. Last word.
Can the case be made that the Jaguars can leapfrog the Titans into the playoff spot if Tennessee falls just enough?
Absolutely, there's a case. I mean, the Jags are definitely competitive this year.
Let's expand on that a little bit more. How good like a coach can be for a culture, from what the Jaguars were last year to what
absolutely
they are, that turnaround.
He's a Super Bowl winning coach, man. It's a reason why he's
Super Bowl winning coach. Trevor Lawrence is finally starting to look like the number one overall.
Because he's a QB whisperer. He's a QB whisperer, copy quarterback. I mean, coach. Like
he's even making Evan Ingram look good. Evan Ingram. Oh man.
All right, so I'll give my teams here on the bubble, and I'm gonna be.
Finish my NFC. Hold on.
Oh, you did not do the NFC. You're correct. NFC.
So real quick, I'll make it quick because we did go fast. So as much as I would love all the East teams to be in the playoffs, I think that'll be the first time ever where the AFC and NFC teams will be all in the playoffs at one time. That'd be insane. And it was looking like that for a while, but the Giants and the Washington is not going to be in there. I'm just going to say that now. It's going to be the Seahawks. They're the most consistent team right now. They're playing really well. They got two rookie cornerbacks right now playing extremely well for that team. And I think that they are going to get in there. I believe the Lions could get in there. I think the Packers might be on their way to correct themselves. Hold on. Simply because it seemed like they're getting Aaron Rodgers is getting used to throwing to his young wide receivers at this point.
But there was never a problem getting used to his receivers. The man broke his finger, and he was in his throwing hand, and he still isn't able to get the ball out.
Dude, he's still playing well with it though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and since he did break his hand, they're starting to learn how to use the and they badly to. I was gonna get on the Panthers still. I was gonna say the Panthers, bro. Low key, the Panthers might get in. Low key, and the reason why is that Tampa Bay is playing so bad. They're playing so bad, and I think they're playing inspired. It's because you didn't see them last week, Avery. It was off last week.
That would be my nightmare.
They're playing inspired play right now, and it's so much. I'm not saying they're gonna get deep, but they might jump past Tampa because Tampa's looking poor.
They're not gonna make it, and here's why. They're in flux too much. Like there's too much inconsistency at so many different positions. You trade away your franchise running back, he's gone. So now who's going to be the guy that
Hubbard and Devontae Freeman been playing very well.
Deontay Foreman is a tank. We all know that. Chuba Hubbard is great, but again, at the receivers position, some questions. At the quarterback position, even more questions. Like it's so many different things. I just personally don't see the Panthers making it. I think the most consistent team in the NFC South is the team that's at the top of the NFC South.
Chris, this is for you. My worst nightmare would be if the Panthers and the Seahawks made the playoffs, because that means two former Jets quarterbacks made the playoffs before the Jets.
Oh wow. Yeah, that'd be I'm going to tell you who the Panthers' last few games are real quick, because it's not that hard.
I'm not saying that it's hard.
They play the Steelers.
That's winnable.
Maybe that can be a win or no. Loss. They play the Lions. I don't think they're going to beat the Lions. Lions playing well. They still played Bucks.
That's a loss.
They play the Saints. They're not going to lose the Saints. Saints are trash.
They'll beat the Saints.
And that's it. That's the last few games.
And that's it. They got one win.
You give your hand away early, Avery, for your game picks. You already have them losing against the Steelers. Oh wow!
Yeah.
Thank you, Juan. Thank you. At least you on my side.
Against Mitch Trubisky, against Mitch, whose nickname I cannot say on this family show.
Week 17 is going to determine that.
Well. Here's the first thing. I believe they played San Fran. Excuse me. I'm sorry. You're right. Yeah. Nope. Got the wrong game. But I mean, I don't think they're beating the Steelers. Me personally, I mean, the Steelers defense.
The teams that I just rattled off, they're all winnable games. I made slightly outside of Lions. Lions can be sometimes too. So like. They're like I said, they're playing inspired.
Sure,
inspired right now.
That this final four stretch of games, they can go 3-1. The case can be made.
It's not going to happen though. It's
only loss might be against Detroit.
They can be
made.
they'll go 1-3 best.
Let's go, Juan. Let's go, Juan.
They'll go
Juan, let's have
1-3.
our own podcast. Kick this guy out.
They'll go 1-3, 1-3 best 2-2. My picks are. I'm gonna go rogue here. Okay, I'm gonna go all the way to the bottom in the AFC. Okay, they're not good. Let's just call it what it is. This team is not good. But if they get consistent play at one position, they can turn it around. And technically, they're still on the bubble, which is weird because their division hasn't shown that they are unstoppable. I'm going to say it. I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
The reason no, don't do it.
I'm going to do it.
Don't do it.
I'm starting my hot takes early. The Cleveland Browns are going to punch them to the playoffs. I feel like, listen, man. I feel like, okay. I feel like, listen. I feel like Deshaun Watson.
No.
Avery.
No.
I did it.
2 words. 2 words.
I did it.
No, actually 3 words. 3 words. Ready?
Deshaun Watson is a good.
Oh,
that's 4 words. But and first of all, that's a name in 2 words. But anyway, I've got the Cleveland Browns. You know, they're going to kick it up. Okay? They're about to run the table, okay? Yep. And they're going to make it in the playoffs. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Run the table. You seen the last 2 games?
They're going to run the table.
Touchdowns.
You heard it here first.
You're asking a guy that haven't played a year and a half of football to come in and make the playoffs.
He's coming in. And he's making the playoffs.
I mean, is it more ridiculous to ask an undrafted rookie to take a team to the playoffs?
Watch it happen, okay? Watch it happen.
Wait, Jerome. We know, I didn't think he was going to go there. I'm not happy he went there, but you know where I thought he was going to go? Matt Ryan, just hold on to the football, man. If you
listen. I actually wouldn't be surprised, only because we're in the later part of the year where teams are running the football more and different things like that. Jonathan Taylor is still Jonathan Taylor. So if they can pick it up on the offensive line, there's a possibility for the Colts, but I just don't see it happening. I think they're just too far behind right now, and the team just doesn't have good morale. So I don't see it happening. On the NFC side, this one's interesting, man. I obviously can see the Seahawks. I can see the Lions making it. The Packers, I agree with Jerome. Actually, I think that if Aaron Rodgers can continue to put up points, that they've got a chance here. And like I said, I agree that he's starting to trust and get the chemistry with his young receivers. I trust Heineke more at this point of the season than Watson. I agree with that 100%. I agree with that.
Most quarterbacks are not good people.
I agree with that 100%. However, I've seen Deshaun Watson do things that I'm just like, listen, man, I wouldn't be surprised. And again, they've got a phenomenal running game. We're at that point in the season where teams are going to lean on the running game. Amari Cooper is still proving that he's a top-tier receiver in the NFL. Their defense, but they're not terrible. And so I could see, and again, with the Ravens having Lamar Jackson out for a couple weeks, the Bengals are really the only threat. It's their division right now, but I could see them sneaking in. Is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, and I'm gonna call it here. But I'm gonna be a homer here, man. Bump that. It's Ritter's season, and the Falcons are gonna punch their ticket to the playoffs. Again, I said it before. The Buccaneers are the only.
This is why he didn't want the Carolina end. See, I knew it was something behind it.
I'm just being. Here's the reason I'm saying this. We beat the Panthers already in an overtime thriller. We beat the Panthers in an overtime thriller last time we played them. And with Ritter coming in, I think there's going to be less, turnovers. That's just my hope. Tyler Huntley over Deshaun Watson. Yeah.
Avery, you need to get your facts straight. First of all, Carolina beat y'all the last time y'all played. You beat them the 2 weeks before that.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So anyway. With that being said, we split that. Okay, so we split them. Doesn't matter. That was with Marcus Mariota. It's Marcus Mariota. It's a new season now. Desmond Ridder is coming in, and so I think that the Falcons are going to get a little bit of momentum. And here again, I'm not saying this as just a homer. Oh, there's bias there. Through and through. There's absolutely bias there. However, the reason I'm saying this is because, again, I feel like the Panthers, they're in flux. There's inconsistency. and the Bucks haven't proven that they haven't dominated anyone this season. We're a game out of the division lead, and all you need to do is win the division, and you're in the playoffs. I think that, again, with the Falcons, we've lost all of our losses have been one score or less. And it's because Marcus Mariota continues to turn the ball over on game-winning drives in the fourth quarter. I think that's also because he's not the best decision maker throwing the football. I think Desmond Ridder gives us some life when it comes to throwing the football because obviously teams are keying in on the run now. So listen, man, I'm going to say it, man. I think the Falcons are going to do it. I think they'll punch their ticket to the playoffs. They'll win this division. I actually don't want us to. I like the fact that we have a top 10 pick currently, but I think that they're going to do it, man. I'm just being honest. He's a baller. He's a dog. He's ready to come in. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Desmond Ridder. Speaking of,
real quick, you're not gonna just skate over that and not let me say this.
You can say
okay. So you trusting a fourth round quarterback that's not that good to not turn the ball over?
My answer is going to be here in our next segment. our next segment. Ridder has now just gotten the start in Atlanta over Marcus Mariota. Head coach Arthur Smith has made the switch from Marcus Mariota to rookie quarterback Desmond Ridder. When asked the reason, Arthur Smith actually surprised me with a very, very candid, open, and honest response. He said it was performance-based. Now, for those who don't know why this was something of news, it's because of the fact that Marcus Mariota has actually been sent to the IR. He's been placed on IR with I believe it was a knee issue. So people were wondering, was this move made because of Marcus Mariota's injury? Head coach Arthur Smith was very clear. This was not because of his injury. This was performance-based. Marcus Mariota was not getting it done. He was very clear about that. He made the switch. And now we've got the rookie, Desmond Ridder, coming in. Is Desmond Ridder the answer to the woes of the Falcons? That's going to be my question that I pose to you guys because, like I said, free Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is currently also on IR. But my question to you guys is can Kyle Pitts turn this thing around? Again, I say this because they're one game out of the playoffs. All you have to do is win the division. We know this. And to get in the playoffs, the Bucks don't look like they're dominating. The Panthers don't look like they're dominating. So the question becomes, can Ridder turn this thing around? Jerome, I'll start with you. I think I already know your answer, but what say ye?
First of all, Avery, that transition was trash.
Thank you.
That was forced. Second, my man is reaching. My man is reaching on that one. Oh man. Dude, as a college football analyst, and guys, make sure you watch the RPO podcast tonight because that is coming on right after this. Anyway, as a college football analyst and watching Ridder, he was, and I hate to say this because I hate to use this narrative, but like he was kind of a product of the system and kind of a product of the good team when he was in there. He wasn't that great, and when they did call his name, he didn't answer the bell. Like he was fine when he, did the play action to Jerome Ford, who was a really good running back and playing for Cleveland, I believe now. He had weapons on the outside. Alec Pierce, as you see, is really doing really well for Indianapolis right now, and looking like he's going to be a starter for the rest of the year and beyond. He had a lot of weapons. He had a really good defense with, Juan Sauce down there and stuff like that. So, if he wasn't asked to do much, now he's going to be asked to do more because now he's on a team that doesn't have that type of talent around him. And, to say that he's going to be better than Mariota, I think it's close. Honestly, I think it's very comparable, actually. I just think that Ridder's not going to run as much, which is probably the reason why Mariota stayed there. Now, I will say, Ridder do tend to use the safer throws. He does that. So in that case, he might be better in a sense, but he's not going to be able to give you those explosive plays that Mariota actually won a lot of games doing, So to say that he's going to be better, no, but I don't disagree with the move because now you get to see how, at least you get to see how the young guy's going to come in there and do. He had half a year to study under, Mariota and, get coached by NFL coaches and things like that. You never know. I mean, he could be a lot better than he was in college, but based on what I've seen from college and what I know of him, I just don't think that he's gonna turn the whole program around and he's gonna be like rah guy. There's a reason why he was a 4th round pick. I still don't think he should have been over Malik Willis. Malik Willis should be in Atlanta right now, but that's a conversation for another day.
All right, I'm not mad at it. Juan, I pose the question to you then. Do you agree with the move? Number one, do you agree that Desmond Ridder should have been starting now? Do you think he should have been starting sooner? And two, again, with the Falcons, one game out of the division lead, do you think it's a possibility that he actually gets the Falcons to the playoffs? Obviously, none of the teams in the NFC South are probably going to make any noise. But do you think that he can turn the season around and get the team at least to the playoffs?
So you see me playing with his lighters in the past.
I did.
And there's a reason why. Is because the take I'm about to make on Desmond Ridder, I wish it was as hot as this lighter was, but it's not where I'd like it to be. He can't be any worse than the other rookie quarterbacks that have been in this class so far. Okay, Kenny Pickett. I listed all the rookie quarterbacks that have played this year at least one start under their belt. Kenny Pickett, 4 of 5. Numbers atrocious. 4 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 3 rushing touchdowns, so not bad. But he has 2 concussions already in this season in his young career, so he can't protect himself. Malik Willis, 1-1, showing that he doesn't have the best arm mechanics right now. He can't pass. He barely complete. He doesn't have any passing touchdowns, no rushing touchdowns, 1 interception. In 2 games he's played, only 157 passing yards. In 2 games. 2 of them that he started for an injured Ryan Tannehill, no less. Skylar Thompson, probably one of the more underrated. Not underrated. Probably one of the rookie quarterbacks that is at least performing. His best game was against the Jets when he was actually leading the Miami Dolphins down the field in the absence of Teddy Bridgewater, who was in for the absence of Tua Tagovailoa. But still, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns, and only 278 passing yards to show for it. Honestly, the best quarterback in this class right now, and this is where it gets a little flamey over here, is Brock Purdy for the San Francisco 49ers. You do not take down the GOAT without being able to show that you can fling it like a master, all right? I'm buying into the Brock Purdy hype early, man, all right? As for Desmond Ridder, his
No, I'm laughing because what Juan's saying might not be wrong, but to be fair, about 3 to 4 years ago, we thought Brock Purdy was going to be our first round pick. So he dropped off really bad the last 2 years of his college football career. But I think it's funny that Juan might be right on that.
Zappy better than Prudy.
Zappy played too. Yeah.
I need a respelling of that, brother. Yeah, if he played so well, why is he in instead of Mac Jones? Please explain that to me. Anyway, point being made. As for Desmond Ridder, Ridder's ceiling and his floor with regards to this draft class, he could be as good as a Kenny Pickett or a Brock Purdy. A lot of upside, good arm talent, and mobile. Well, not mobile, but enough to move around where you can get the yardage. But his floor could be of a Skylar Thompson, mid-arm, not crazy athletic, but can get the job done if and when you need him to. All right. I'm excited. This Falcons game is going to be one I'm going to be keeping my eye on because I want to see what Desmond Ridder could do. Because he was being trashed on coming out of college. He said he had a weak arm. He wasn't that mobile, not that athletic, but his leadership skills and his intangibles were off the charts. And I love good character players. So
he doesn't pass the ball.
and he doesn't pat the ball. But I will say this, Avery, I hope that Desmond Ridder becomes your next franchise quarterback. I really do. Do I think he will? No, I do not. I think he'll be another stopgap for maybe a year or two, and then you'll be back in the top 5 drafting another quarterback.
Listen, man, I honestly I wouldn't mind if the Falcons did the subtle tank, right? Be competitive and lose every game here on out. Try to get yourself a top 5 pick and maybe make a trade into the top 3 to go after Bryce Young. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. But with that being said, I believe that Desmond Ridder is going to be a spark. I don't think that he's going to be that much better than Marcus Mariota. And I say this because it's not like Arthur Smith is a quarterback guru or anything like that. He's an offensive line guru. He's a run scheme guru, and he does that very well. I think that because he's probably right now a better passer than Marcus Mariota, at least from what we've seen in the preseason. Again, that's the preseason, of course, but we've seen him actually move the ball down the field with his arm as opposed to just kind of relying on his legs. I think that he'll bring a little bit more of that to the offense. Now, is he going to be slinging it around 50 times a game? No. Is he going to throw for 350 yards a game? No. Is he going to have rookie mistakes? Absolutely. But I'm okay with it because I was seeing rookie mistakes from an eight-year quarterback. And I was tired of it. I was tired of seeing the rookie mistakes at the end of the game. I was tired of seeing the flustered nature of Marcus Mariota, and I could not stand seeing Arthur Smith try to defend horrific quarterback play. So I'm glad that this move was made. I felt that this move should have been made 3 weeks ago when we were half a game out of the playoffs and just needed literally to win a football game. And we retake the lead in the division. It didn't happen. It is what it is. We are where we are now. I think that, like I said, with Desmond Ridder being under center now, I think it may open up some of the running game again because you would assume that because he's probably a better passer than Marcus Mariota, they won't key as much on the run, but we'll see. I don't see him being a drastic difference. I just see him being a difference and a spark. And I said it before, I say it again. I think he leads this team to the playoffs, and then they get stomped in the first round.
If Archie Smith wants like a good roadmap to how to develop Desmond Ridder into a starting quarterback, because you know who he reminds me of a little bit. Maybe it's a weird. He's like a right-handed Tua Tagovailoa, in my opinion. He doesn't have as strong as an arm. He's cerebral in his approach in the game, and he's just mobile enough to make more time in the pocket.
I say he reminds me a little bit more of a more athletic and better mechanics Teddy Bridgewater. That's kind of what he reminds me of. Somebody who, again,
we are kind of the same player if you really think about it.
Somewhat. And I say this because I think that he has a decent arm. It's not, he doesn't have a cannon. He's not a turnover machine. That's never been anything that anybody's ever said about him. He's got small hands. He's mobile enough, right? He can get the job done with his legs. And he's never too high or too low. And that's what we've seen from Teddy Bridgewater throughout his career. He doesn't get too high. He doesn't get too low. He kind of remains steady. I can see, but like I said, I think he's just a little bit more athletic. And so, I mean, we'll see what happens. The one thing I will say is he's behind an offensive line that was abysmal last season that seems to have turned the tide. We've got a top 5 offensive lineman currently in Chris Lindstrom, who looks to have turned his entire career around because he started off really bad. And obviously a top 10 tackle in Jake Matthews. So it looks like they're playing better. It just, we'll see what he can do. Obviously we lack some weapons on the outside. Drake London is solid. I think he's still one of the better receivers in this rookie class. I think he's better than an Alec Pierce, who again you pointed to. Ritter was throwing to last season. I think he's a better jump ball receiver. I think he's a better route runner. He's a stronger receiver. He's very sure-handed as well. Glad Ryan Tannehill. That's actually not bad. I'm actually not mad at that comp. I'm actually not mad at that.
Is he as tall as Ryan Tannehill?
He's not. No, but I'm not. I'm not mad at the comp because of. Yeah, I'm not mad at the comp. I'm not mad at the comp.
I got a question. I got
a lot of the skill set, but
I got a quick question. At Saints, at Ravens, Cardinals, Buccaneers. Looking at this schedule,
3-1.
I'd say 2-2.
As long as y'all beat the Saints, I don't care.
I think if you beat you Eagles fan with their picks, get out of here. No, I think the winnable games are the Cardinals and the Saints. The Ravens and the Bucks is where I have my doubts because Tom Brady always makes the Falcons pay.
Absolutely. I agree. Those are the questionable games. The Ravens, I think the Ravens beat us for sure. Just because their running game is really good, and Huntley is let's not sneeze at Huntley. Like he almost got those Ravens to the playoffs last year when Lamar was hurt. They're in a better position now than what they were last year. So I think he can still do that. And with J.K. Dobbins coming back, I think that helps out a lot as well. So I think the Ravens definitely beat us. But I think we beat the Saints. Been saying that since Senior Bowl. I hear you. I'm not mad at it. Like I said, I think the Saints, we win that game just because there's so many questions. Though Andy Dalton hasn't been playing terrible, but there's again so many holes right now. I think that we'll win that game. I definitely think that we beat the Bucks, and the only reason I believe that is because I think we're just going to split. I think that the tide changes at the end of the season with that game. The Bucks barely eked out a win against the Saints, and that's because the Saints are never mind. And then the last team, the Cardinals, with Kyler going down, with all the holes that they have, and Kyler going down, we better beat the Cardinals. I'll put it to you that way. We're a little bit more of a complete team in that regard than the Cardinals are. And so, yeah, that's the reason I see 3-1. I don't see them being blowouts. I don't see them being surefire wins. I think we win those games by a total of 13 points. Like, I don't see them being shootouts, barn burners. I think they're all going to be close games. And I would not be surprised if we go 0-4 to end the season. But I'm going to predict 3-1.
Is Arthur Blank your coach for the future?
Arthur Smith.
Sorry, I'm thinking of the owner.
Yeah, I think I like Arthur Smith. I do believe that he can be the coach of the future. I think that he definitely needs to get the quarterback situation together, though. I think that's the biggest if, because his scheme is good, right? We've seen him take Tennessee to the playoffs multiple years. Like he can run the football in the NFL. You gotta run the football. The defense is playing a lot better under Dean Pease. But I just think the quarterback is the question. I love as soon as Avery comes back, we get a 15-minute segment on Ritter. Wasn't my call, but anywho, yeah, I think like I said, I just personally believe in Arthur Smith. I think he has the right disposition. I think that he's one of those coaches who are like, he's going to call his players out, and I like that. I like the fact that he's not afraid of putting the right people in the right places. Like, no matter your name or your, like, he's like, I just want to win football games, right? And whoever helps us win football games, I think that's good. The question is not really Arthur Smith. To me, it's really Terry. Can you find us a quarterback? We've got $90 million in cap space this coming off season. Can you find us a quarterback? Can you find us a dynamic down the field receiver? And can you find us a pass rush? Because those are the things that we're really missing. We've got a dynamic corner in AJ Terrell, who's learning from a vet corner in Casey Hayward, who hopefully comes back this season and plays healthy. Our safeties are not really that good, but they're being masked by the corner play. The linebackers are obviously flying around, but we can't generate any pass rush. So I personally think Terry is in question. He's done a good job so far, not necessarily Arthur Smith. Juan.
I've talked about my
I
Jets.
think, hold on. I don't think Arthur Blank is gonna be good as a head coach though. Just
Arthur
saying.
Smith.
Like I don't think Arthur Blank got what it takes to be an NFL.
Arthur Smith.
Arthur Blank don't have what it takes to be a head coach. I think he got to run a team. He can't have.
We talked about the Jets plenty, and we just talked about the Falcons plenty. So I want to say, you have anything to say about the Eagles, Jerome?
Do I got anything to say about the Eagles? I mean, I think our play's saying everything we need to say. So like,
All right, let me ask you this real briefly, and we'll jump into our game picks and everything like that. So briefly, what is your take on Michael Parsons' comments about?
Ooh, yeah.
Listen. He can say whatever he wants, man.
Let me refresh. Hold on.
He got injured.
Hold on.
If he wants that smoke again,
wait, Jerome. Let me refresh the fans for those who may not know. Michael Parsons has stated that it's more so the team than it is Jalen Hurts, and this is coming in after a question that he was asked on a podcast about Jalen Hurts and his MVP consideration. He said that it's more so the team than it is Jalen Hurts. He questions, is it Jalen Hurts or is it the team that's around Jalen Hurts? So again, Jerome, what were you saying about those comments?
No, I was just saying, dude, like if he wants to give us smoke before the fire, like, hey, start up that smoke because, bro, you're gonna have to put out that fire. I'm just saying, like, that's gonna be on you. That's on you. So you do you, man. Like, say what you guys say now. My boy Jalen Hurts, you already know what he said. He said, you know, why would I put myself in the thoughts of a sheep? Why would I talk down to a sheep?
Now, I'll say this, and we'll move on. I've been been a champion for Jalen Hurts since he was at Alabama. I didn't like the narrative around Jalen Hurts that he wasn't a quarterback, that he was running, all these different things. I've been in his corner. I thought he was. Yeah. I was great that he got drafted, and I always said he's a winner. However, I think Micah makes a good point that you have to question it. I think Jalen Hurts, without question, is the MVP. But I see where his point comes in. Where, I mean, you look at the last time Dallas played Philadelphia with a backup quarterback, but they still got to Jalen Hurts. I think 3+ times. They sacked him 3+ times, and he didn't have his best outing of the season. So I understand Michael Parsons' stance because he's like, hey, man, like they won that game because of the team, not necessarily because of Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
And so I understand the stance. I don't agree with it. I think that Jalen Hurts, without question, is, again, I think he's the MVP. I don't think there's
like, I'm going with Avery on that one. And with all due respect to Jalen Hurts, like if you put Gardner Minshew in that same offense, it's not going to be the same way. Jalen Hurts is a spark to that offense that you can't find inside of Gardner Minshew. That's your guy. I will say though,
looking at y'all right now like y'all crazy.
I will say.
Say what?
So he's looking at y'all like y'all crazy, but all right.
Jerome, I will say, if you could have just sent Gardner Minshew my way to the Jets, I'll gladly take him over Mike White or Zach Wilson any day.
Hey, let's make that call, man. Let's make that call. You know, we already got that connection. So.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, man.
Mike didn't do anything until Lane Johnson went out. It's not about Micah. That's why I said the team got to Jalen Hurts.
But look, this is the thing, because Avery, you even said this yourself. The progression of Jalen Hurts from year one to now, like not even from year one to now, from beginning of the season to now, he's getting better and better.
Absolutely.
So to question him as an MVP, it's like it's hard for me to even say that he wouldn't be MVP conversation because his progression. And Avery was talking about this before we even got off. It depends on what you said yourself. It depends on what you're doing at the end of the year. So when I was talking about Blake Corum not having that Heisman talk, it was because he got injured. Well, let's have that same situation with Jalen Hurts. He's doing better at the end of the year and better and better and better. And if he keeps on this, I think he should be considered an MVP, not because it's a team.
Listen, like I said,
Dude, you can say that, and my guy Lord Brunson, Eagles content creator, my boy right there. I created his video for him. Cool guy. He said it well himself. You look at the last couple of MVPs, the last 20 years. Look at their roster. Every roster that an MVP was on had a stacked roster. So you can't be like it's the team, because
it gets tiring when you try to defend a quarterback who's doing good, and then you say it's the weapons around. Well,
exactly.
It's kind of like the Tua and the Jared Goff argument. Are they terrible quarterbacks just because they have good talent around them? They need a good talent around them to be good. Jalen Hurts is already a really good quarterback. The fact that he has elite level talent around him puts him at an elite level. He's still a really good quarterback, though. Therefore, he's in the MVP conversation. I'm tired of the excuse where talent doesn't elevate talent.
Thank you.
Listen. Like I said, I agree 100%. I say that because we're looking at with the Packers. We see what happens with Aaron Rodgers when Devontae Adams is no longer there, and Aaron Rodgers is considered by many still the best quarterback in the NFL. So talent around the guys absolutely matters. You look at, but to give numbers, Jalen Hurts has over 3,000 yards passing. He's got 22 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions, which is phenomenal. He's got a 68% completion percentage, which I believe is top 3 in the league right now. I mean, you really can't say that the guy is playing bad. And
let's sprinkle in the stat that everybody don't like to sprinkle in. Rushing yards matter. Rushing touchdowns matter. This man has one of the.
Who said they don't matter? That is how Lamar Jackson won his MVP.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I agree.
I'm just saying.
And like I said, I think the only MVP that we can say did not have a stacked team around them was Aaron Rodgers. I think that, and the reason I say that is because you look at, well, not just Aaron Rodgers and probably Peyton Manning. And I say that because you look at what the team would probably be like without those teams, without those quarterbacks. You look at, Peyton Manning, when he gets hurt, they win 2 games the next year. That's
real quick before you continue. What year of Peyton Manning are you talking about? Because Peyton Manning had some stacked teams.
The year after he won the MVP and got hurt, they had the neck injury, and they only won 2 games. That's what I'm talking about.
2010.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Where it's just it was clear that Peyton Manning was that dude. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that. Okay.
And then Aaron Rodgers, like I said, I mean, you look at it would any, because you can't just say it's a plug and play because there's so many holes in the Packers, but Aaron masked a lot of those holes. For years, he masked those holes because of his play. And I think it's a combination of him and Devontae Adams. But anywho, let's go ahead and move on. Let's get our preview of Thursday Night Football. It's going to be an interesting game. This is a very, very interesting game right here. San Fran, who is on a tear right now, with a backup rookie quarterback in Brock Purdy. Seattle, who, I mean, nobody saw this from Seattle, right? Nobody. I don't think anybody saw this from Seattle. They've kind of faltered a little bit in the last couple of weeks, but they're still consistent. They're still competitive. They're playing good football. To Jerome's point, 2 rookie corners, and they're balling. It'll be Kenneth Walker comes back. And so it'll be a very interesting game to see, but San Fran has not given up a second half point in their last 5 games. That is wild. That's a wild stat. That is dominance at its finest. This defense is just on fire. So it'll be interesting to see tonight. Juan, I'll start with you. I think it's time for the game pick for tonight. Everybody, y'all know it's the unzip the hoodie season.
You might need to change that name just because this jacket's not a hoodie, technically. But
just put a hood on it.
Put a hood on it. I put a collar up because that's all I got.
There you go.
So for my pick tonight, I will be going with the San Francisco 49ers to beat the Seattle Seahawks.
Great jersey.
Oh yeah, this is for people at home, this is actually my first official NFL jersey I ever got, and it's my oldest one that I've kept to this day. Very special to me. With that being said, this 49ers team is basically what I wish the Jets could be. They are an elite level defense powered by an offense that is doing plenty with the weapons around it with a decent quarterback under center in Brock Purdy. All right. Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo was doing a good job. I don't know what's going to be happening with Trey Lance when he comes back, but Brock Purdy is that dude right now for the San Francisco 49ers. All right. He is meshing well with the talent. He's already got the love of the locker room. If you saw the touchdown celebration with, oh man, what's his name? Tight end, Greg Kittle with George Kittle when in that touchdown celebration, like an elephant hanging around. And then just the fact that he got that ball in a placement to Christian McCaffrey against the Buccaneers last week, really in a small corner of the end zone. Not a lot of quarterbacks can make that good of a throw. And Brock Purdy pulled that off. I don't know how. The defense is led by Joey Bosa, who I will say is going to end this year leading the league in sacks. I think he might hit 20 by the time that this year is over, maybe before that 17 game that they play. As for the Seattle Seahawks, Geno Smith, I'm happy you're having success, man. You were struggling without Kenneth Walker under the lineup. I think that Geno really needs that elite running game to get him going, because trying to put an offense on his back is not what he's supposed to be. He's a man that takes advantage of opportunities when the defense is hoodwinked into focusing on the run on the rush too much. So with Kenneth Walker back, I think it's going to be a good battle tonight. But I think the 49ers will pull out on top. I'm seeing 24-21, the final score.
All right, I like it. I'm not mad at it at all. Got to close.
One. I love that score. That's my score. I love it.
All right, so we got the score. We got the score. Now we need the pick.
So I'm going with I don't have the jersey. I'm going with the Seahawks, man. Listen. And it's nothing against Brock Purdy. I think he'd be fine. But he's gonna get exposed tonight. I already talked about those rookie corners, man. They've been playing all year. They've been balling. Don't throw it to Warren because he's gonna grab another one, and he's gonna dude. I think he's gonna get 10 at the end of this year. I feel 10 coming at the end of this year. I think 10 is good. He's at 6 or 7 right now. He's gonna get 10. I feel it, and I think he's gonna get kind of a hot take. I think he's gonna get 2 tonight. I
mean, I see what you're saying, but this Seattle Seahawks defense is still bottom 5 in the NFL in yards per game allowed, points per game allowed. I'm checking right now.
But listen, they
again,
don't break defense.
This defense allows 25 points per game. Yes, they're still elite corners, but they're still letting guys go down the field, and they're still letting them score.
But look, listen, they let them score, but who's scoring? Who been passing the most efficient all year? Even in a bad game last year, who's been the most efficient quarterback this entire year? Even more efficient than the MVP right now, Geno Smith. He's gonna do his thing. He got K9 back right now. That defense is getting better and better, I believe, each week. I think that Geno's gonna be able to sling it to. He's been going crazy slinging it to I was about to say Hilton, not Hilton. Tyler Lockett and DK. DK starting to warm up right now. I got him in fantasy, so I know he's starting to warm up. He's getting there. They've been throwing it really well to the tight ends. The offensive line, a young offensive line, been playing really well. Now I will say, Joey Bosa is probably going to be the game breaker in this game. But you already know how these games be. They be tight games. They be close games. I love this matchup because it seems like every time, don't matter who's quarterback, who's playing, these games always fun games to watch. So I'm ready to go in. I'm going with my K9. My boy K9 is gonna be rocking, and I've been rolling with K9 ever since I seen him tear up my Michigan team and beat them last year when Michigan won the Big Ten. So you know, K9's gonna do his thing, man. And I know he's hungry because he wanted to go back in that game so bad. He tried it. He tried his best. He's gonna go out there. He's feeling healthy. No injury implication for tonight. So
Okay.
I think if they lean on him, you know, try to keep McCaffrey from going crazy on him, and don't let Bosa wreck the game. I think they're gonna be good, man. I think they're just overall just gonna be better. Now, if I say if the quarterback play was a little bit different, maybe I might go San Fran with this one. But I just think it's Seahawks time, man.
You know, I will. The Debo Samuel loss would have hurt this 49ers team a lot, but Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, and Brandon Ayuk, I think, have plenty of offensive firepower to make up the difference.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think that they've got enough to make a difference, which is why I'm going to go with San Fran tonight. I think San Fran gets it done. I think the Brock Purdy train continues. I think the Buccaneers, me personally, I think the Buccaneers are probably a more intimidating, not necessarily well-rounded team, but more intimidating team than Seattle. Just because of the allure of Tom Brady. Like, you just never know when it comes to Tom Brady, as the Saints can attest to, right? And so I think that I think there's a lot of momentum behind San Fran right now because of the hype with it comes to Brock Purdy. There's not a lot of film. There's not a lot of there's not. He can make every throw on the field as well. To Juan's point, we saw him throw a dot to Christian McCaffrey in the back of the end zone. So I agree that I thought that the Debo Samuel injury was going to be a huge hindrance, and I do think that is going to be a hindrance in moving forward. But I think, me personally, that the key factor here is not going to be Christian McCaffrey. It's not going to be Brandon Ayuk. And it's not going to be George Kittle. I think Juwan Jennings shows up tonight and shows up big.
Yo, Juwan Jennings at the Senior Bowl, bro. I was looking at him like, dude, this dude playing,
Listen,
man. He's a dude.
He's a dude. And he's a dog. I think he's a dog who plays his role too. Like, he's not somebody who's like, get me the ball, different things like that. Fun fact, he's one of the top targeted and top. He has one of the highest catch completion percentages on third down in the NFL. The he's Mr. Reliable. And I think tonight,
jump ball specialist too. So.
Yeah, I think tonight he goes off, which is going to lead me into my hot take real quick. Hot take Thursday. I think Juwan Jennings goes for $175, 2 touchdowns tonight against Seattle in those vaunted corners. I think he just is going to be a dog, and I think that he's going to be the person that gets overlooked, and he ends up just torching this Seattle defense. To Juan's point, they give up a lot of yards and they give up a lot of points, and I think the trend continues tonight. I've got San Fran winning this game 34-21. I don't think it's going to be close. I think we're going to see the trend of that San Fran defense not allowing points again in the second half, because I think you have to test this defense, and I don't think that they have enough firepower on offense to do so. And I think Nick Bosa, I'll give another hot take. I think Nick Bosa has 3 sacks plus tonight. So that's just me personally. So with that being said, we're going to jump into our game picks. Again, one explanation, and we'll go through it. We're going to start with the CEO. We got our game picks.
I ain't prepared game picks. I ain't prepared game picks, so I'm just gonna save this for Juan to do. So since I'm not giving a game pick, I'm gonna give my hot take now. I'm giving my hot take if that's okay with you guys.
Let's do it.
All right. So as you guys know, as you see from the sweater, you see it. It's the year of Michigan, man. And my hot take is Michigan been going hot this whole year, not only in college football, but in the NFL. Jonathan Peoples-Jones. You look at, Uche playing really well. And we got the Lions, who's in Michigan, playing very well. And I think my hot take is they're going to make the playoffs, not because Jared Goff, not because Swift, but one of their Michigan guys is going to step up and make Rookie of the Year. Aiden Hutchinson is going to lead that defense to make the playoff and make a little run to get in there. Go Blue.
Well, there you have it, folks. I love Aiden Hutchinson, though. He is a dog. Juan, let's talk about it. Game picks, one explanation. Let's go.
Come on, Juan. You should have liked that being in Michigan now. Come on, man.
I am, but Sauce Gardner's already Rookie of the Year, brother. So
that's what he's thinking about. Okay.
So I got San Francisco. I already said I got San Fran winning against the Seahawks tonight. Minnesota, I think, will handle business with the Colts and get back to their winning ways. Baltimore, I think, will slap the heck out of the Cleveland Browns. Mostly because that won't be my explainer, but I'll just say that. Miami and Buffalo, that's the premier game of this week, and that's the one I'm going to go with for my explainer. I'll keep it light and brief as possible, but basically it's going to be a battle of two offensive juggernauts coming into it. Miami still has a pretty lackluster defense despite adding Bradley Chubb through trades, and Xavier Howard has been on a downward spiral. Plus, they're going up to Buffalo, and it's supposed to snow. And I don't know how a team that's used to hot Miami weather can deal with lake effect snow, but I don't think it'll be enough. I think the Dolphins will suffer their third straight loss, and it will be a blowout in Buffalo. I'm putting my hot takes here. Tua throws pick 6 to Tre'Davious White, and Josh Allen explodes for 3 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns. Then we have.
You must have him in fantasy, but go ahead.
I don't have him in fantasy, actually. I wish, but I don't. I got Philly against Chicago. Obviously, I'm taking Philadelphia, but I think it's going to be competitive, especially with Justin Fields back. Atlanta versus New Orleans. I'm taking your Falcons, Avery. I'm thinking Desmond Ridder is going to get that win. Detroit versus the Jets. I'm taking my Jets to beat Detroit. I think it's going to be a really close game, and New York will outgrid them. Pittsburgh and Carolina. I am taking the Panthers. Dallas and Jacksonville. I am taking the Cowboys. Kansas City will beat the hell out of Houston. Arizona versus Denver. I got Denver winning this one if Russell Wilson comes back. And even if it's Jeff Driscoll under center, I'll still take the Broncos. New England versus Las Vegas. Give me New England. Tennessee against Los Angeles. I am going to have to go with the Titans. Then Cincinnati and Tampa Bay. I'm taking the Bengals with Joe Shiesty. Then the Giants versus the Commanders. Still a weird name. You know what? I have to. I'm gonna be a troll. It's a tie again. I think they're gonna.
No, really?
Yeah, I do. I think they're gonna tie again.
Hold on. There's somebody on hot take that it was gonna be a tie or something like that. Somebody said, I don't know if it was on this podcast or I heard it somewhere.
Another one, but no, I'm calling for a second straight. I'm calling for a second tie here. I think it's gonna happen. Both teams are kind of in that mood to tie, and then Los Angeles versus Green Bay. That's a tough one. I'm gonna go Packers.
All right, there it is, ladies and gents. There it is. All right, let me go. Obviously, 49ers Seahawks. I already gave my pick with San Fran. Colts versus the Vikings. This is a game that the Vikings will probably lose, but the Vikings they'll get it out. They'll win this game. Ravens versus the Brownies. Dolphins versus the Bills. Speed or snow? Speed or snow?
What happens when you put a fast car on a black ice road?
It still goes fast. It just
crashes.
Traction.
Crashes. And Tyreek has that ankle injury.
It also depends on the driver. Yeah.
Have you ever seen a Cheeto on some snow though? I'm just playing.
I'm gonna.
I'm just saying stuff at this point. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
no. But the Penguins slide really well on snow, though.
I'm gonna go with. Yeah, I'll go with Buffalo. Falcons versus the Saints. Let's go, Birds. Falcons. Eagles versus the Bears. I agree with Juan. I think it's going to be competitive, but I think the Eagles it'll be competitive early on. I think the Eagles end up doing what they're supposed to do and demolishing bad teams.
You already seen what AJ Brown did against the Titans.
So I think the Eagles are going to pull away from that. I'll give a score actually for that game. Yeah, the Eagles 43-10. Lions.
I wasn't ready for that one, but go ahead.
Yeah, I think they get busy. Lions versus the Jets. That's the game of the week for me. I'm sorry. Definitely tuning in for that. But I'm going to take. I agree with Juan. I think there's just a little bit more grit with the Jets. So give me the Jets. Steelers versus the Panthers. I've already kind of confirmed Steelers. Cowboys versus the Jaguars. Cowboys. Chiefs versus the Texans. Chiefs. Cardinals versus the Broncos. Broncos. Patriots versus the Raiders. Patriots. Titans versus the Chargers. This is my explanation game. As Jerome kind of alluded to, the Derrick Henry train isn't really chugging right now. So there's some questions as to what's going on. I think that the biggest issue is, again, they have no real receiving threats, which is why teams are just loading and stacking the box. And as great as Derrick Henry is, I mean, you've got to have at least one threat. Robert Woods isn't it. Burks isn't it. I think they just need somebody who's going to change that. And so because of that, it's looking dark. But the Chargers, they do not have a really good run defense at all. So and it's not like they're tearing away in the league. We thought that they were going to be a dominant team this year, especially if they could stay healthy on the defense side with Khalil Mack and the second Bosa brother and Derwin James and J.C. Jackson and all these different things. Unfortunately, Jackson goes down with injury, but even with him, it's not like they were phenomenal. So it's a question mark. But I think because of getting Keenan Allen back, who had 12 catches last game, Mike Williams being Mike Williams, and the who is the receiver? Good gosh. The other receiver, the slot guy. I cannot remember his name, but he's a guy that actually prior to
Guyton.
Yes.
Guyton, yeah.
Yes. Prior to the season, Justin Herbert said this is the guy to look out for. And yeah, we should have looked out for him. I'm going to go with the Chargers. I think they just have a little bit more on offense. And again, Austin Eckler is Austin Eckler. Bengals versus the Buccaneers. I'll take the Bengals. Giants versus the Commanders. I think the Giants get back to winning this week. And I'll take the Giants in prime time against the Commanders. Rams versus the Packers. Prime time Monday Night Football. Yeah. Baker's, I'm sorry. I don't care that he won that game. He's not good. Packers. That's my game picks, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to wrap this up. This was a longer podcast. It was fun, though. It was fun to be here with you guys, man, the CEO and the one and only, you know what I'm saying? But this has been, what's up?
If this isn't the MVP, I don't know what an MVP is.
I can't read what he said.
There it is. It's hurt. It hurts, don't it? That's funny.
He won an MVP just on that. He won an MVP just on that.
That's good. I'm not mad.
Burn it all down.
I love it. Yeah, man. So I'm not gonna go back into the MVP talk. Anyway, this is the Aired Out Podcast, brought to you by Inside the Hashes. Thank you, Pop. Thank you for joining in. We appreciate it. Like I said, this is the Aired Out Podcast, brought to you by Inside the Hashes. Please do me a favor. go to all your social media platforms and follow Inside the Hashes. That Instagram and Facebook at Inside the Hashes, Twitter at Inside Hashes, and please do me a favor, go to the website www.insidethehashes.com. That way you can get all of our football content. That's podcasts, blogs, interviews, everything, all those different things. A lot of ITH interviewees have been playing really good football, by the way. Just want to point that out there. Anywho, and please go to our YouTube, hit the like and subscribe button, and then turn on the notifications. That way you can get notifications when we are live, and you can get your comments on the show, as you saw throughout our show today. So go ahead and do that for us. And if you didn't know, all you gotta do
podcast afterwards.
All you gotta do is scan this here QR code, and it'll take you exactly where you need to go, where you need to be for all your football content. Again, this is the Aired Out Podcast, brought to you by Inside the Hashes. Jerome, the CEO, he just told you, watch the RPO podcast after this, okay? That is also brought to you by Inside the Hashes. But for our CEO, Jerome, and for the one and only Juan, my name is Avery, Inside the Hashes, Aired Out Podcast. What's up?
I got one thing to say.
Okay.
Matt Ryan, stop patting the ball, man. Like, come on, Matt Ryan. Why you gotta pat the ball, man? Like, come on, Matt Ryan. Why you gotta pat the ball? Like, why you gotta pat the ball, man? I don't get it. Like,
if he does,
the ball, like,
he's got to do.